There are tons of ways to save money on groceries. Here are a few of my favorites.
One around.
Stretch it out. So it can be something really cheap like lentils or potatoes that you're adding a ton of to stretch whatever you're making. So lentils is a great substitute for something meat-based, like with ground beef, you add in some lentils, and that will make it without changing the taste too much, it'll stretch it further. Or it can be something that has like a high nutritional value like kale or spinach that's still not too expensive, but can really stretch your dish a bit. So that's like green loading it with lots of vegetables, because vegetables really aren't that expensive. Vegetables, whole grains, not very expensive. It can also be things like soap. I really love getting the liquid soap and then putting it into a pump that's for foaming hand soap. And you add like a ton of water to it. Water's pretty cheap. I have recently fallen in love with growing my own food. I love to do perennials because they just keep coming back year after year. So that's what, if you can get it established, I would consider that pretty easy. Things like strawberries have about a 3 to 4 year life cycle, sometimes more, but usually about 3 to 4 years. Raspberries, blackberries. We grow service berries and mulberries too, and I actually find that I really like those. Service berries are kind of like a better blueberry. I think we'll grow the regular vegetables too, but I've been trying to really lean into perennials. Like asparagus is a perennial. So we've been growing asparagus. It takes a couple years to establish, but once you get it established, woohoo, free food. And potatoes are easy to grow. So you can either focus on stuff that's easy to grow, stuff that is high nutrition or high satiety, like potatoes, or things that are expensive, like herbs. We grow a lot of herbs, and berries are very expensive to buy. Growing your own food is a lot of fun. You're more likely to eat healthy when you've grown it yourself because it's so exciting to harvest your own food. And it can get expensive if you start going kind of crazy about it, but if you really focus on stuff that's native to your area or stuff that's easy to grow, it's worth the time. Even if you're just chaos gardening where you're just throwing seeds around, it can be worth it to grow your own food. We actually had our first frost recently, and I read in a comment on YouTube that you can hang your tomato plants inside so that you can continue harvesting through the winter so that they can ripen on the vine. And I was like, oh, that seems easy. So Matthew wrestled our best tomato plant inside, and he said it was not easy, but I've been harvesting from it for a few weeks now, which is pretty exciting. Points. Now, I personally am not a fan of like Ibotta or any of those. I don't think Fetch Rewards is even in my area, but Ibotta is not worth it, in my opinion, because most of the stuff you're buying is junk. Additionally, Walmart, where we shop a lot at Walmart in Dillon's, Walmart now has most of the Ibotta rewards kind of built into any of the manufacturer ones are built into the Walmart card that you can get them back. So Ibotta is basically rendered useless for us. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention credit card points. So sometimes you can get the reward deals where a certain store will have like a 10% back that you can load to your card and then pay with that card, and you'll get like a one-time 10% back or something like that. But additionally, you could find credit cards that'll give like cash back on groceries for a category. So I have like a city card that has, you can select which category. Basically it's your highest spend category out of a specific amount of approved categories, and groceries is one of them where you can get 5% back on. And so since I shop at 2 stores, there is a limit to the quarter, but we're not hitting that limit at all on the one store because we're split between 2 stores. Walmart used to have a Capital One card. They're actually phasing that out, which I was really upset about, but I was getting 5% back at Walmart for doing just pickup every time. We shop at Kroger, Dillon's, and Walmart. And for the Kroger stores, they have the app, and they have a lot of coupons on the app that you can do, but they also have like fuel points, and we actually there's this one coupon, I clip it every week, and it's 4 times the fuel points if you shop on Fridays. So we shop on Fridays so we can get 4 times the fuel points. And they also have additional fuel points for prescriptions if you do your prescriptions through there. And then we signed up for the Boost membership because you can sometimes sign up at a discount, a steep discount of like $20 off of a $50 subscription if you time it right. And then you get additional fuel points for just about everything, it seems like. And that allows us to save on gas even more than we already do. And they have a lot of good discounts too. From that, we also specifically focus on stocking up with sale items and loss leaders. Now, we're not going to get a lot of sale items or loss leaders at Walmart because it's already pretty much priced at their bottom prices. So stock up sales, loss leader items. Loss leaders are the one or two items that they're trying to pull you into the store for. So the Dillon's ad will have like one or two things that are a great deal, and I will form my meals around those or stock up on them and shop the pantry, which is a pretty common system that people use. So if it's on a really good sale, I buy it, stick it in the freezer, or if it's a pantry stable item, put it in the pantry. In the next weeks, I will look and see what I have and make my meal plan from that. And I know a lot of people don't do meal planning. I don't meal plan like people on YouTube tell. Everybody has these huge systems. I have a Google Keep list that is 4 items. One is pizza, because we do pizza twice a week, because that's one of the few foods my son will eat. And then 3 other dishes. So generally we eat oats for breakfast. Oats are cheap. We can get them on Wick. So if you're hungry enough to eat, we eat oats for breakfast. My husband and I. My kids eat toast, mainly toast. So we'll have like a 4-item list that will sometimes be like pizza, pumpkin pancakes, Alfredo, and I just do a broccoli Alfredo usually, and like kale tomato penne, something like that. It'll be just like 4 things, whatever we have available in our pantry or have to buy few ingredients for. So I don't make it complicated. It's not complicated. And so then it's something I can choose whichever thing makes sense for the day, or whichever thing I feel like off of that. If I don't feel like it all week and I can make it work without making it, then it'll just roll over indefinitely to the next list. So my biggest thing that I do to save money on groceries is eat less processed. Less processed food is typically cheaper, not always, but typically cheaper, and it's healthier. So you get more nutrients for whatever money you're spending on it. And there's the shop the perimeter, however you do it to make it less processed. Basically, you want to get one ingredient items. This is rice. Okay, this is bacon, whatever. So I even try to stay away from things like sugar. We still have sugar in the house, and what I do is I buy a more expensive sugar that is fair trade, because I consider sugar to be a luxury, and I'm trying to not have my luxuries at the expense of somebody else. Same with like coffee, chocolate. We try to buy the fair trade, and that's a good way to start thinking about it, is less processed and more ethically sourced food where you can. So one more time, those were stretch it, grow it, points, stock up sales, and less processed. Those are my favorite ways to save at the grocery store.